Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, we are live, and it's good to have you join me this evening. This is the Facebook Live session on protocol practice. 7 minutes past the hour of 7. Sincere apologies for coming up late, but we'll go straight into what we have today. While I want to appreciate everyone, I want to use the opportunity to say this session is a session that is meant to enlighten each and everyone who is interested in learning about protocol, who is in the protocol industry and want to know more about protocol. And of course, make sure that you extend your knowledge and horizon in the world of protocol. I'm so excited. This is the first of its kind, and I'm glad that this platform is the platform that I'll be using to share this information. My name is Minabai Sebofor. I am the Chief of Protocol Shieldfield Nigeria Limited, an organization saddled with the responsibility of providing protocol, etiquette, close protection, and of course, executive protection consultancy services to make sure you get the best of it. So, protocol, protocol, protocol. What is the essence of protocol? While I wait for others to join, I would also encourage you to share the live video because it's very, very important that you do that. And we are streaming live on the StreamYard platform, right? So, what is the essence of this live video? The essence of this live video is to make sure that the concept of protocol is understood properly. Now, over the years and times, in this part of the world, Africa, so to speak, the concept of protocol have somewhat been misunderstood to be um, to be close protection professionals, to be errand boys. And sometimes people who are just there for not, who are just there, sometimes errand boys, errand girls, and people who just do one or two things. But you see, the concept of protocol goes beyond that. In fact, it is a department, it is a unit, it is a career, it's a path that goes beyond the normal things you think about. In fact, it's that important as any other part of the organization you can think of. So when we talk about protocol, 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 what is it all about? Why is it important? Why do we need it? Why do you always see me post and talk about protocol? It is because we need to bring it to the forefront, to the knowledge, because if you don't know the use of a particular thing, abuse is inevitable. Now, if you haven't heard the word protocol before, I think 2019 gave us a better option or gave us a better understanding of what it means. Of course, with the pandemic, you hear of COVID-19 protocol, COVID-19 protocol, COVID-19 protocol. What is the protocol they're talking about COVID-19? That is what we are about talking. But we're not talking COVID-19. Well, we just want to talk about protocol, what it means. All right, so that is the essence of this. And many of these live videos will be coming up from time to time. So do well to join us every time this session comes up, because it's a time to enlighten us what protocol is and what protocol is not. Having said that, let's go straight to the discussion for today, the practice of protocol in organizations. All right, the practice of protocol in organizations. Go ahead, share this video and let your friends and those who are in the protocol practice know that something like this is going on. All right, I'll be taking questions as the video continues. All right, so go ahead in the comment section and put your questions there, and I'll be glad to answer some of your questions. Share the video, share the video. Let's go straight. Okay, so what is protocol? What is protocol? Now, you've heard the word protocol, and of course, you've heard government organizations talking about protocol, and you've even heard in statements like all protocols duly observed and all the rest of them. In our subsequent classes, in our subsequent sessions, I'll be throwing light on some of those areas where you talk about all protocols duly observed to let you know that that is not a protocol in itself. So, what is protocol? Now, protocol is basically about following the right procedures. Yes, following right procedures. But let me give what will be described as a definition, because you can't define protocol like this or like that. But then, in a concept, in a concept that in a context that will make you understand this very well. What I said here is this is a general definition that protocol is the art of ensuring that official and unofficial occasions, visits, meetings, functions are planned and conducted in accordance with set of rules that are formally, socially, and culturally accepted and expected by parties involved. So, what are we trying to say? First of all, if I were you, I would mark the word an art. So when you see the work of an art, what does it portend? What does it show? What does it portray? It shows you beauty, it shows you dexterity, it shows you order, it shows you flow, it shows you seamless transition. So, protocol is an art of ensuring that official and unofficial occasions, visits, meetings, functions are planned and conducted in such a way that at the end of the day, decorum is found. At the end of the day, mutual respect is in play. That at the end of the day, the business or the essence of the meeting is achieved. What are we trying to say? So, for example, there is a meeting you ought to attend with your principal, or your organization is to attend a meeting. Sometimes it could be a high power delegation, sometimes it could be annual general meetings, sometimes it could be conventions, it could be any meeting, so to speak. And of course, in those meetings, we'll see like VIPs attending, or see people attending from different walks of life. So that some could come from other countries, some could come from other states, some could come from any other place. Now, what we are saying in protocol is this: the process of arranging such an event in such a way that everything goes smoothly is what protocol is all about. Now, when we talk about this, what are we talking about? We're talking about seating arrangements. We are talking about deciding which hall to make use of. We are talking about the speeches to be made. We're talking about who is attending such events. So it entails a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things. That is what protocol is about. Have you attended an event where you don't know who the next speaker is? Have you attended an event where you see someone coming up and then he was told that no, it's not his turn to come up, it's someone else's turn to come up? Have you attended an event where the MC of the ceremony doesn't know the dignitaries, their names and their titles and the organization they represent? Have you attended an event where you don't know which door to follow and which door to go out with? Have you attended an event where it is haphazardly organized? What protocol does is to make sure that anything that would cause such distraction is taken away. So that is why it is called the art of ensuring that official and unofficial occasions, that includes visits, that include meetings, that include functions, are planned and conducted in accordance with set of rules that are formally, socially, and culturally accepted and expected by parties involved. Now, when we talk about the culturally accepted part, it is because of the broader context of protocol, and of course, in business and in organizations, when you meet people who are not from your constituency, so to speak, who are not from your part of the world. So, for example, I'm in Nigeria right now, and you might be somewhere else, say in Japan or another part of Asia, Europe, anywhere. Now, if as the CEO of an organization, I'm hosting the Japanese counterpart, for example. Now, what protocol helps you do is to make sure that, from the definition I have given, that the set of rules guiding that occasion are culturally accepted and are expected by the parties involved. So, what am I trying to say? If a counterpart is coming from Japan and I in Nigeria is the host, what I will do is, as a protocol officer, I will connect with the Japanese counterparts to ask them questions like, how do you greet? How do you present greeting cards? When you come to such events and meetings, what do you do? What are the things that are expected of us? Because the truth is, you can't know everything about the culture. And the people from the other part also wouldn't expect you to know everything. And that is why there is a common ground for everybody to have this meeting in order for our business to go smoothly and successfully. All right? I'm taking this time to explain this because it's very important. And from the things I've explained so far, you will understand that protocol is not what you've been thinking or what you thought protocol is. So it is basically planning of events in such a way that the goal of the event is achieved with respect, decorum, and orderliness in place. So that is what protocol is all about. Protocol is about following rules. These rules might not be written down. These rules might not be like 10 commandments or so. It is something that both parties can sit and say, this is the much we can do. This is the much we can do. This is the much we can do. And then we agree and say, okay, when we come to this meeting, this is how it is going to be. As important as this is, if you don't take cognizance of it, it will jeopardize the essence of the meeting. I'll always give one example because you are from Nigeria, and example from the eastern part of Nigeria, and the chief there, or the Igwe there, is the one that you're supposed to see, and you already know. You might just go to the palace of the Igwe and say, Igwe, but then there are protocols involved in visiting the king. You don't just go to the king empty-handed. You don't just go to the king, to the Igwe, so to speak, to the Igwe, just like that and casually. There are things that follows the visiting of the king, and there are norms that are expected of you to follow. If you don't do that, then the Igwe or whoever is in charge will see you as someone who disrespect. The essence of having protocol is to show honor, respect, and orderliness. So get that right, okay? So we can also say protocol is a set of rules prescribing good manners in official life and in ceremonies involving government and nations and their representatives. If you go to government organized occasions, you will see order, you will see precision, you will see how the program of event goes. That is protocol. When are the guests expected to sit down? Who is to sit in front? Who is to sit by the right? Who is to sit by the left? Who is to sit behind? So these are many things defines protocol. So this is what protocol is all about. So don't get confused anymore. Anyway, if you want to get more, you can also go ahead and join our academy, and of course, get more for yourself. So that is what protocol is all about. Now, the question is, what is protocol? I've answered that. What is protocol? What protocol is not? From the definition, you can see that protocol is not what you think. Protocol are not the guys that put on shades. Protocol are not, especially in religious settings. I will explain that, and if time permits me, in subsequent editions as well, I'll explain that. So, what we're trying to say is this: if you happens to be in an organization, then the protocol team is one important team that you need to, add as the units in your organization, because what they do is to plan and orchestrate VIP visits. So they make sure that they remove all unintended misunderstanding to make sure that the principal of your organization and the other organization have a smooth meeting. It's very important, very, very, very important. So the protocols serve as a bridge. The protocol provides a universal language. The protocol is the one that gives you that avenue where you are at rest, you are at peace to conduct the business. Now, if you take a look at events that happen, high-powered events, the G20, AU Summit, ECOWAS Summit, United Nations conventions, and all the rest of them, protocols are the ones in charge of the organization of that event. Now, you see how important their role is. So if your organization will be known for an organization that practices protocol, then it means that in your activities, protocol should be one of them. Because if you don't have it, then sometimes you can just go with it. You can just go with it, and maybe nothing in our own context here, in our own idea here. Nothing. We can always work with it. But when you have protocol, it shows that you understand orderliness. It shows that you understand respect. It shows that you understand courtesy, and you show that you are a global organization, even as organizations are going global right now. So, who is a protocol officer? Who is a protocol officer? A protocol officer is basically this man that organizes these visits, that organizes these events. He's a facilitator. He is the person that makes sure that the visits of these VIPs, the visits of these persons in the organizations are properly done. All right. He makes sure that visits, ceremonies, meetings, and special events are organized in such a way that at the end of the day, we'll see diplomacy between the principal and the invited guests. Of course, you can't talk about protocol without talking about diplomacy. These two goes together. In all international relation businesses conducted all over the world, there is protocol. All right. So the protocol officer is that one that organizes things. Now, the protocol is not just one person; it's a team. So a group of people, organizing this event, deciding what to do. At the end of the day, that diplomacy is achieved between the guests and the principal. Now, according to Pamela Aren, now protocol officers are those who are educated and experienced in order of precedence, titles, forms of address, flag etiquette, international protocol, and so much more. What we're trying to say here, what Pamela is trying to say here is this: having become a member of a protocol team, you are expected to know flag etiquette. Now, what is flag etiquette? It's basically how you handle the flag. It's basically how you deal with the flag. It's basically how you place the flag, how you respect the flag, how you show courtesy and respect the flag. Now, in occasions that deals with international organizations, or you deal with members of other countries, how do you place the flags? Do you place it by the right? Do you place the visiting nation by the right or by the left? All these are part of flag etiquette. That is also a topic for another day. Now, protocol officers are also knowledgeable in titles. Now, you need to be familiar with titles of people, titles of VIPs that are coming to your organizations. You wouldn't want to call Mr. A, Mr. B, and call Mr. B, Mr. C. So, this is some of the things that the protocol officer does. He knows this. He knows this. He knows this. All right. Forms of address, even how you speak. All right, how you speak. So they are educated and experienced in precedence, order of precedence, talking about the chronological order of hierarchy, talking about hierarchy, maybe the chronological order of people in terms of their ranking in government or in the organization. You don't want to call the director of an organization as the assistant director. These are some of the areas protocol deal in. A protocol officer looks at critically. All right. Okay. So a protocol officer is one that pays close attention to details. Of course, details such as seating arrangements, seating strategies, and how to properly, I mentioned that before, how to properly address VIPs. And the protocol officer helps to ensure that those attending the event are treated with courtesy and respect. One thing you will you should know about protocol is that courtesy and respect is always there. Courtesy and respect, very, very important. So a protocol officer is that one that will go ahead of the organization and make sure that whatever the visiting organization or the visiting personality would want in that meeting will be sorted out. So I always make this example as well. If you are to visit if the Oni of Ife is to visit your organization, because you are an organization that shows respect, and because you have the protocol department ahead of time, the protocol units of your organization will definitely contact the protocol units of the Oni of Ife. If the Oni visits, how do they greet? Who welcomes the Oni of Ife? Is it your principal or the next in command? These are the areas that you need to look at. If the Oni of Ife is coming, will your boss, will your principal prostrate like every other person? These are the areas the protocol officer will look. Do you present flower vase or a bouquet to the Oni of Ife? Do you present a pigeon when he arrives? What do you do? How do you greet? No, these are the areas. Now, I see a lot of things we must have seen, you must have seen as well, when you see the presentation of a bouquet by the little girl to the visiting guests. But you need to ask yourself, what is the essence of doing that? Is it really necessary? Now, for any protocol you put in place, you should be able to explain why that particular action is necessary. So it's not just about a set of rules. So that's why we say rules that are culturally acceptable and expected of both parties. Okay, so it's not just enough to go carry a flower and give to the person coming to your organization. Was that necessary for you to do it? Were you supposed to give the protocol officer of that visiting guest, or you're supposed to give him direct or her direct? These are the areas that the protocol team of both organizations will look into. So a protocol officer arranges all these things. The VIP is talking about from the routes they are going to take, from the hotels they are going to stay, a lot of these things. The protocol officer organizes that. Now, when they get to the event, which door are they to follow? Are they to follow the door that everybody follows, or there is a door behind the hall for them to follow? These are the areas the protocol officer looks at. Okay, some of these points I'm raising will be coming up in our video episode of protocol in 60 seconds. So A protocol officer can be regarded as the one who is a facilitator in an organization. He is the person that organizes and orchestrates VIP visits, ceremonies, meetings, special events. And of course, the aim of this is to make sure that diplomacy, is seen between the principal and the guests. All right. So you now see that it is not just something that is abstract. It is a whole lot of responsibility. Now, let me give you this information, and I want you to from now, going forward, when you take a look at events, especially government events, diplomatic events, and all the rest of them, take a look at the seamlessness, take a look at the decorum, take a look at the flow of events. Now, before those events happen, protocol has already done a lot of work, sometimes 2-3 months ahead of time. So the G20 summit held recently, where we saw world powers, Japan, US, UK, Germany, Russia, attending, Canada, attending that event. Protocol did a lot of work. Now, protocol guys are not seen. They are behind the scenes, but they make things work between these countries, because that meeting was such a high-powered meeting. Business interactions will take place. Before those business interactions take place, it is the protocol officers that will meet and organize and make sure that in the meeting, nothing distracts the leaders from arriving at the point of diplomacy, arriving at the point where they'll be able to make agreements and understanding. One of the core features, or one of the highlights of the G20 summit in Geneva that was held recently, was the meeting between President Biden and Putin. Of course, the war, not war per se, physical war, the disagreements between Russia and the US. And of course, if you follow the trend, it has not been so cool. Trump, during his administration, also built some beautiful relationships with Russia, even in the midst of the war and all the rest of them. Trump also met Kim Jong-un of North Korea. And of course, Biden meeting Putin right now is also another one. Now, I was going through an article now concerning the preparation towards that event. It took a whole lot of time. Because of the tension between these two countries. Now, in order for this to happen, the arrangements, the room where Biden and Putin are to sit to hold that meeting, was also organized by the protocol. How will these presidents feel in the midst of this international tension brewing between both countries? Now, they had to organize to do it in such a way that even the room, the ambience of the room, the content of the room, the color of the room, the table they are going to sit down, all these things plays a very critical role in making sure that that meeting was the success. I don't know if you get the point. So it looks irrelevant, it looks inconsequential, but these are the areas protocol officers play. So if your guest is coming, as simple as how you greet the guest. Are you going to shake hands? Are you going to hug? Are you going to, when you want to greet, how do you greet? Do you greet with two hands this way? These are areas. In different cultures, there are different ways to greet. Do you give thumbs up when you greet in this culture? How do you do these things? The protocol officers inform the principal and train them. In fact, training by that I mean teaching them the custom of these people, not because they want to learn the entire culture, but because if you know how the cultural nuances play an effective role in making sure that you are able to have a stronger negotiation power, then you should be able to do that. So that is what protocol is all about. These simple things as gestures, as greetings, as how you present cards, as how you greet people, In some other countries, you are to do the kiss from the left to right, left to right, left to right 3 times. Some other countries don't do that. Some other countries shake. Some other countries, they do this way. They do the 2 hands this way. Of course, Indians do the namaste greeting and all the rest of them. If you don't know that, and when you attend such events and you want to meet, for example, with an Indian delegate, and you bring your hands to shake, and that if that is not the way they shake, and your protocol team has not been able to connect with their protocol team, you see there will be misunderstanding and cultural differences there. It's also embarrassing. When you were not supposed to present a bouquet, you went ahead and presented the bouquet. These are things that protocol look into before an occasion is conducted. All right, you'll be asking your question very soon. You'll be asking a question very soon, and I would love to answer some of your questions. So go ahead, keep sharing the video. Of course, my name is Minaba Isebofer. I'm the Chief of Protocol, Shield Field Protocol. And of course, we are a 21st century organization providing services in etiquette, protocol, and close protection. Let me get your thoughts. Let me get your questions. And of course, I will be glad to answer them. All right. So that is it. That is how important protocol is. Now, if your organizations don't have this, we're not saying it is the end of the world. You can do it. But you see, when we see organizations that respect these little nuances, it plays a critical role in customer relation. All right. Okay. So let's say a few things here. The importance of a protocol. The importance of a protocol officer. The importance of a protocol officer. Why is it important? Why is it important? Very important question. Why is protocol important? Why do you need the protocol officer in your organization? Why do you need it? Then after that, we'll go to the functions of the protocol officer. So, of course, the protocol officer helps your organization in building strong and lasting relationships, especially providing cross-cultural respect and cooperation between individuals, clients, co-workers, nations, and all the rest of them. You can't underrate it. Who needs a protocol officer? Everyone needs a protocol officer. Everyone. The things you do to make sure that you have a special, you have, let me describe it this way. The plans you put in place to make sure that a guest has a good stay in the organization is what protocol does. But you see, because you don't understand this, you just do it haphazardly. The protocols take time to go through this. So what the protocol does is to make sure that all these are attended to while you rest, and make sure that your concern should be, how do we solve this? How do we conduct our business deal? Leave the rest for the protocol. So now, irrespective of the organization you belong to, irrespective of the industry, whether private or public, the banking industry, multinational corporations, diplomatic missions, and all the rest of them, the protocol plays an important role. Of course, I've said this before, the protocol provides a universal language in the organization. I said at the beginning of this video that protocol is in the business of image making. Protocol is in the business of memories. I remember, one of those encounters I had, me and my team were able to create what ordinarily we didn't see as anything, but that memory remained in the mind of our guests. And he was just like, wow, that is the impression protocol gives. So we are in the business of impression. And in this impression, we show courtesy, we show respect, and decorum. All right. Now, I've given this example before. So, if you are a company doing first time business, let me take this from Pamela Irene as well, from the Protocol School of Washington, one of the schools that has influenced most of my protocol decisions and characters. Protocol School of Washington. I respect those guys so much. All right. They say if you are doing first time business with an international client, I want you to listen to this, especially our brothers who are doing businesses with other nations. Now, a protocol officer can advise your team on cultural customs, such as how to present business card when meeting in person. And of course, the example goes that in Japan, you offer your card with two hands, but in the United Arab Emirates, you offer up a card with your right hand only. Now, it sounds simple enough, but it will be cross-cultural disrespect if you do the opposite. And it can be a serious offense to your guests from this other part of the world. He will see, or she will see, or that delegation will see that you don't respect us. Why would you give me a card with two hands when you're supposed to give me with your right hand? Why would you prefer to shake me when you were supposed to do this way? Now, what a trained protocol officer does is that the protocol officer can help you navigate through all these things. So, the protocol officer helps you do this. We have received a lot of visits from a number of persons, and the way you treat them matters a lot. All right? So, the importance of protocol cannot be overemphasized. We can speak about everything about protocol in one session. So more sessions will be coming up. More sessions will be coming up. So it's important that you have a protocol officer in your organization and a protocol team, so to speak, in your organization, because you don't just want to remain local. Now, even in your localness, so to speak, you receive people who are not from the same thoughts with you. Even in the Southeast, not everybody understands the cultural nuances of where every other person is coming from. So what the protocol officer does is to make sure that he understands this and explain to you so that when you eventually meet the person you're supposed to meet, you will have a good time. And of course, the meeting will not be distracted by some of those issues where you need to start looking at why is this man disrespecting me? No, the protocol officer helps you focus on the business while he takes care of the other things. And finally, even as we begin to round off this evening, let me go to the last one, which is the functions of a protocol officer. It will help us understand. It will help us understand the practice of protocol in organizations. Now, what we do in Sheffield is to help train and develop protocol officers, even set up protocol units for organizations so that they can have a proper image development with image development to the outside world. It builds your image. It builds your image. No man who goes to an organization and he is treated nicely that wouldn't speak about that organization. Of course, one of our mantra here in the protocol industry is the industry of the mantra of impression. What you do to people will eventually last, not what you say to them. How you treat people will eventually remain the picture in their head, not what you say to them. What you say to them might go, but what you do to them remains. So what do you do to people when they visit your organization? How do you treat people when they visit your organization? Protocol is honor. Protocol is respect. Protocol is courtesy. When people have attend your events, how do they feel when they go back? Do they feel disrespected because they don't know, because you are not able to treat them properly? Nobody deserves disrespect. Nobody deserves dishonor. So when they come to your events, how were they treated? Were they treated shabbily? The protocol officer and the protocol team in your organization make sure that everyone attending that event gets the best of treatment with total respect, especially the VIPs. Especially the VIPs. In our subsequent editions on these live sessions, we'll be talking about why you shouldn't go to an event when you're not invited, and why you should go to an event when you're invited. These are some other areas we'll be looking at. So, what does a protocol officer do? What is the functions of a protocol officer? Having explained all of this, we got only a few minutes to round off. Now, what the protocol officer does is that the protocol officer research traditions and customs. I talked about that if you joined the class earlier. He researches traditions and customs. The protocol officer develops itineraries, agenda, and checklists. What that means is basically, if you are coming to my organization, the protocol officer should be able to know what are you going to do the 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days you are saying. In your visit, is there going to be a lunch, a luncheon? Is there going to be a breakfast? Is there going to be a dinner party? Is there going to be a ceremony? Is there going to be a one-on-one talk? These are the things that the protocol officer arranges. The protocol officer also arranges photo opportunities. The protocol officer makes and sends invitations. And of course, the protocol officer identifies security risks and creates safety plans. So it's quite deep. It's not just at the periphery. A protocol officer also models polite behavior, very important, tactfulness, and good manners. You can't be a protocol officer and you are not polite. You can't be a protocol officer and you are rude. You can't be a protocol officer and you are not level-headed. You can't be a protocol officer and you are arrogant. All right. Okay. So it's very important because your job is to make sure that orderliness is followed in that event. The VIPs are to follow a particular door. The VVIPs are to follow a particular door. There's going to be a photo shoot, and who will come to the photo booths, to the photo stand to take their photographs. When they come to take their photographs, especially the leaders of both organizations, are they going to have a handshake? You know, these are the things that the protocol officer looks at, and they arrange these things properly to make sure that when that time comes, both parties already know what to do. And of course, they create suitable seating arrangements. Now, if the principal and his wife are going for an event, where will the principal and his wife sit? Where will his wife sit? Where will the principal sit? Is it going to be at the right or at the left-hand side? Who is going to sit next to them? These are some of the area, some other functions the protocol officer carries out. Very interesting, very interesting. At this point, of course, I would like to take some questions. Of course, it is important to note that protocol officers are not errand boys or girls. In fact, their principal duty is to plan and organize VIP visits, movements, ceremonies, official visits, special events, and of course, every other thing that has to do with events in an organization. That is what the protocol officer does. That's one of the key functions of a protocol officer. At this point, I would like to take your questions as we begin to round up. So if you have any question, I will be glad to take some of them. Let me check if I have any of those questions coming, right? I want to say a big shout out to Chukwemeka Donald Obi, right? He's there. And we also have a number of persons following this live session this time around. Okay, so I expect to see your questions. Got only a few minutes to round off. Okay. Now, someone asked me, why is it that protocol officers don't smile? Why is it that protocol officers don't smile? And and I answered. I said to the person, I understand from the angle, I understand the angle you are coming from. Protocol officers are one of the most friendly people, are some of the most friendly people you can think of and you can ever meet because of the nature of their job. All right? So the guys you see that don't smile, those guys are close protection officials. From the definition and from the explanation I gave to you, you will understand that these things are not the same. So protocol officers, because they are polite people, because they are friendly people, because they are diplomatic people, at every point in time, especially when they meet the other person, they always put a smile. It's very important. So the guys who don't put a smile on their faces when on duty are the close protection guys and executive protection guys. So you don't expect an executive protection official to smile while on duty, not because he doesn't know how to smile, but it could distract him. It could distract him. Doesn't mean they don't smile. They do smile, right? Okay. So another person asked me, why is it that protocol officers don't dance in church? Okay. Now, in the religious angle, taking a look at protocol, sometimes the protocol officers in these religious institutions act as close protection officials as well. So when they are there, you now think that they are acting as protocol officers because they are known as protocol officers. But actually, at that point, they're acting as close protection officials. So why they don't dance is because they are on duty and their primary responsibility is to protect the principal, is to make sure that the principal is safe. If everyone is dancing and you are dancing as well, you have taken your eyes away from the principal and anything can happen. That is the watchword in close protection. Anything can happen. And once anything happens and you are not able to cover and evacuate your principal and harm happens to your principal, you are failed in your mission as a close protection agent. This is also another area I'll be talking on when we get to that point, talking about close protection executive, talking about executive protection, what you need to know about executive protection, how you protect your principal, and all the rest of them. So I'm waiting for your questions. Now, we took a look at what protocol is and say basically it is the art of organizing events, ceremonies, visits, and unofficial visits to make sure that at the end of the day, diplomatic relations are established and maintained. These events are organized in such a way that nothing impedes the essence of the meeting, cultural nuances, and all the rest of them. Okay, so that is it. Of course, the importance of a protocol officer. Who needs a protocol officer? Everyone needs it. Everyone needs it. The army, of course, needs it. Even the medical field. We talk about the protocols in medicine. There are processes, there are laid down rules and, and guiding principles. You know, governing the the practice of medicine and all what have you. All right. Remember to like our page at Shieldfield on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Okay, what I'm going to do is to put up that. I'm going to put that up so you can follow us, like our page on Facebook. like our page on Facebook, and of course follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Shield Field Pro. Right? Okay, so I'm going to put that. So follow us. Go like our page, and follow us on this platform, and we'll be glad that you did. And also, you can send us a mail. Send us a mail at shieldfieldprotocol at hotmail.com. All right. Let me also add that here. Shieldfieldprotocol at hotmail.com. All right. So that is going to be that for tonight. Okay. So like our page on Facebook at Sheffield, on Instagram and Twitter at Sheffield Pro. Well, we hope to see the comeback of Twitter after the whole, issue with federal government and Twitter. We hope to see Twitter come back soon, and of course, our updates will go there live. Right? So send us a mail at shieldfieldprotocol at hotmail.com for your questions. All right? Go ahead, send us a mail, and I'll be glad to do that. Okay? You can also send us a message on these numbers, and we'll be glad to answer your call. Chat us up on WhatsApp as well. I'll be glad to do that with you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We got 2 minutes to run off tonight's Facebook Live session. And this will be coming up from time to time. Once a date is fixed for the next edition, we will let you know. And of course, get ready and invite all your friends, those who are in the protocol industry and those who want to learn more about the protocol industry. Okay? All right. Let me give out the numbers. Let me give out the number to join us for you to reach us on this number. Okay. Okay, these are the numbers to get across to us. Once you do that, we'll be glad that you contacted us. All right, so the numbers will be on the screen. Okay. Okay, so the number will be there in just a second. All right. Okay, so that's the number on the screen. Why is this going on? So that's the number on the screen. Reach us on this number and reach us on our email, like our Facebook at Shieldfield, Instagram at Shieldfield Pro, and Twitter as well. Our Twitter account is on hold for now, pending when the federal government will settle the issue with Twitter. But that's it tonight on the broadcast protocol practice and organization. Now we have known that protocol is not what you think. Like I said before now, we can't exhaust it entirely. But I want to believe that once you join our academy, a lot of things will be revealed to you. So hit us up on those numbers, and we'll be glad to take your questions and your inquiries. Like our Facebook page at Shieldfield, on Instagram at Shieldfield Pro, and Twitter as well. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Minabai Seymour. I am the Chief of Protocol, Shield Field Protocol Nigeria Limited, a 21st century organization saddled with the responsibility of providing close protection consultancy services, protocol, and etiquette services in organizations. What we do is to enhance the image of your organizations. Until I see you next time, and of course, keep practicing protocol because it's all about following the right procedures. Finally, the COVID-19 protocols are really important. If you don't understand what protocol is, COVID-19 should teach you. Wash your hands regularly, do not touch your nose with your face mask, and when you sneeze, of course, you know how to do it. It's a set of rules. It's what we know as the processes, some of which we can use to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Thank you so much. I love you all. And of course, the replay will be on my Facebook account, Mina by Saber, so you can go ahead and rewatch. Thank you so much. God bless you and have a beautiful evening. Bye bye.